Last night we had a very beautiful Easter vigil. It was a lovely celebration. We had 10 that came into the church, 10 adults, young adults that were baptized. Also a baby who came all the way from Fiji here to be baptized. His parents had been married in our church and made the decision to come back here to be baptized. So it was a lovely celebration, and it's a sign of the gift of conversion in the hearts of people. So many of us were baptized as children, as babies ourselves, and someone made the decision for us that we would be people of faith. But when an adult, or a young adult, a teenager, makes that decision to say, I want to encounter Christ, it's a big step. It's a huge step, actually, of conversion. And it's a step that happens not just on the day of baptism at an Easter vigil, but it is a step that happens every day of the life of any baptized Catholic Christian. Is every morning to wake up and to say, I am going to encounter Christ today. And we don't know how that may happen, when it will happen, any of the circumstances, but we can be assured as people who are believers that we will encounter the living God in our lives. And sometimes we may have to search a little bit further for it. For the 10 that came into the church last night, they're from all different backgrounds. Just as today, with the crowd that is here today, we all come from different backgrounds, but we have one thing in common. And that is that we celebrate today the gift of life and of resurrection. In his homily last evening at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, Pope Francis spoke about resurrection. He baptized 12. They came from China and Malaysia, probably a few from Italy. But he had that opportunity and some words for each one of us that I think can resonate. That when he looked at the scriptures, he was struck by the fact that Peter ran to the tomb. Look at that, Peter and the other disciple, they ran. They didn't just casually walk. They didn't take a nice little jog, but they ran to the tomb. Now think about it. They could have stayed home. Where were the others? Where were the other 9? How come the other apostles didn't go and go running along with Peter? No, they stayed at home. They were still afraid. See, what had been revealed had not resonated with them. They had not yet encountered God. But Pope Francis said that Peter ran, and for Peter it was a resurrection. Because from that moment forward, he experienced conversion. Peter had a change of heart, going from being one who denied Christ and being one who wasn't too sure about what was going to happen to the Lord. He didn't understand the scriptures of what was to be fulfilled. But on this Easter morning, there in the quiet streets of Jerusalem, Peter had a conversion. Peter experienced resurrection and new life. And he went in there to the tomb, and what did he see on the ground? But he saw burial cloths. I have to tell you, this Easter, I'm kind of intrigued by those burial cloths. I wonder, were they bloodied from the torture and the violence of what had happened just a few days before? They were just thrown there. So what did Jesus have on as he walked out of the tomb? What presence did Jesus have as he walked into the world in this new way and said, there is new life and there is hope? You see, those burial cloths represent the sadness of Good Friday, the emptiness of Saturday and being in the tomb, the absence of the presence of Christ in the world. But you see, for us as believers, there is a third day, and on the third day, Christ rose. See, those burial cloths can represent maybe something for us as well, and a part of our own conversion on this particular Easter morning. You see, in our faith, we're all about choices. I know some people think Catholics, they're very rigid, or they worship statues, Oh, I don't know, they have all this ritual. They're very like boom, 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 boom. Well, I got news for you, folks. We're all about choices. It's about making choices each and every day to be with God or not, to realize the beauty of resurrection and the life of Christ, or to deny it. You know, Easter can be a holiday where we celebrate in a secular way. Just think, you could have woken up this morning, had your coffee, maybe breakfast in bed, although I don't know what the charm is about that. It's a mess, to be honest with you. Maybe on this morning, maybe the kids have already, been into the Easter basket. They could be enjoying the jelly beans. I'll tell you, I went down this morning, came there in the rectory, went to get the Easter basket. The bunny came, is wonderful. And I was so disappointed. The ears were gone already. And all I could think of on this day, not that I'm judging, page 76 of the Rediscovered Jesus book, Matthew Kelly talks about not judging. But I will tell you, not judging, I thought, I bet Father Bowman did it this morning. But there's choices today, because Easter can be a secular holiday where we say, it's springtime, it's new life. Wow, isn't this great? Wear colorful clothing and pastels. Maybe celebrate that it is the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. That's how the date of Easter is determined. Maybe you could say, well, it's Easter Sunday. Well, that's great, but you know what? That doesn't have any meaning to us. Well, let's go see a movie, or let's go out and go shopping all afternoon. I hope that we wouldn't necessarily do that. Today's the day to make it different, because for us, this is not a Sunday or a day like any other day. This is the third day. This is Easter. As believers, it can only make a difference for us to realize that Christ walked away from the tomb. It was gone, no more darkness, no more burial cloths. So the choice for us today is to think of what are our burial cloths that need to be thrown aside. Perhaps we are wrapped up in our own self-centeredness and need to be more other-centered. Take that cloth off and leave it to the side. Today is a new day. Today is the day to make that choice for the Lord and for others, to know, love, and serve our God by loving and serving others. Perhaps today we can make a choice to take off the burial cloth of perhaps disappointment. For someone who is young, maybe the disappointment is, well, you broke up with your first boyfriend. Or maybe, for a guy who was in high school, it's prom season coming up, maybe that's, well, the girl, she said no. Get used to it. It's called rejection. It's a burial cloth that can come off and be tossed to the side. Leave it alone. Let it go. Maybe it's the burial cloth of struggling with employment or finances. Maybe it is a burial cloth of having realized that we have a chronic illness, or that we are diagnosed with a terminal illness. Think about it. Easter has meaning for us because Jesus didn't stay on the cross. He didn't stay in a tomb. He rose from it. He walked away. The cloth was tossed aside because there is hope for eternal and everlasting life. This past week, I think our world, the whole earth was kind of wrapped in one of those burial cloths. When we think about the sadness of violence or terror, the evil that somebody would try to take away the sense of peace and comfort, that is a cloth that needs to be taken aside and thrown on the ground, because we are people of hope. And as people of hope who have Christ in our lives, we follow a God who gives us peace that is enduring, that doesn't come because the world says we can have peace, but comes because it is from God in our hearts, in our minds, and our souls. Yes, my friends, today is a day to make a choice, to say, I truly believe in God, the Father, the one who sent his Son into the world to save us. Are we walking with him or not? Are we going to take the cloths that we don't need to wear anymore, that we are wrapped up in, and leave them aside, or will we walk away? to celebrate the gift of resurrection, to encounter Christ in a new way, to understand that there is hope always for tomorrow, not because we are citizens of this world, but, my friends, because we are future citizens of heaven. The choice is yours.